Hi everyone, welcome back to Alcove Health Women's Clinic. Today I am here in the clinic with Denise, one of our registered nurses, and one of the questions that we get a lot of times is, I've missed my period, so I'm pretty sure I'm pregnant and I don't want to keep the pregnancy. And so what would you say to that, Denise, for a woman who's ready to make a decision based on the fact that her period should have come last week and it's still not here?
Right. I would strongly suggest, number one, just go ahead and purchase a pregnancy test, a home pregnancy test, because that definitely should be something you want to check.
Okay, and so for the woman sitting out there saying, all right, I took the home pregnancy test, it's positive, now what do I do?
Okay, so now this would be a great time to go ahead and call us for an appointment and schedule an appointment, because we can do a medical grade pregnancy test here and also discuss further options such as possibly an ultrasound.
Okay, and why is that necessary? Why does an ultrasound matter?
Okay, that's a great question, because an ultrasound is really important. Now, what we offer here is what we call limited ultrasounds, because what we would like to do is to confirm that the pregnancy is in the right place. Now, when I say that, I usually like to use my female anatomy model. We want to make sure that the pregnancy is in the uterus. If a pregnancy is outside of the uterus, then that's what we consider ectopic, and that can be very dangerous. So that's the first and foremost thing that we want to check for, is to make sure that that pregnancy is in the uterus, which means it's in the right place.
And if someone were to take the abortion pill with an ectopic, that would not fix that problem, right?
Correct, yeah. So if you have a pregnancy that's out in like the fallopian tube area or anywhere outside of the uterus, and you take a medical abortion pill, that is not going to do anything, because again, the pregnancy is outside of the uterus.
Okay, and so that helps with that. Are there also additional things that we need to know that the ultrasound gives information for that she would need to know before she made a plan?
Right. So another thing would be, we check to make sure it's in the right place. Mm-hmm. The second thing we check for is for viability, which when we say viability, that means we check to see if the pregnancy has a heartbeat, if it's alive. So 1 out of 4 women have miscarriages, so it's very common to have a miscarriage. So even before taking an abortion pill, you want to make sure, is it in the right place? Or, is it even a living pregnancy? Because if it's not a living pregnancy, then there's no reason to take a medical abortion pill.
Right, so you're taking that burden on yourself emotionally. You're also taking the cost of an abortion pill for a pregnancy that's not viable. That just doesn't make sense, right?
Right.
And for women who are listening who are thinking about getting a surgical abortion, maybe they think, an ultrasound makes sense. But this week's question on a camera, a clinic, and a question is, I don't want a surgical abortion. I want the abortion pill. Do I still need the ultrasound first?
Yeah, and that's a legit question, because sometimes people will say to me, I don't want a surgical abortion, I just want to go ahead and do that medical abortion. But even with that, an ultrasound is so vital and so important, because at that point, not only do we check to make sure it's in the right place, do we check for viability, but we also check to see how far along you are in the pregnancy. A medical abortion is FDA approved up to 10 weeks of pregnancy. So if you are out of that range, a little bit further along, the medical abortion will not be anything that you would want to take at that point.
And we've seen women come in thinking they're very early in their pregnancy. The ultrasound reveals they're not. And a few days can make all the difference, right?
Oh, for sure. And that's why it's so important when you do a home pregnancy test, you give us a call. We can do a medical grade pregnancy test, and then we can discuss. We can go over your last menstrual period, which can be very different for a lot of women. We can go over possibly, offering you the limited ultrasound, which should give you confirmation of all of that.
Okay, and one thing that I also love is that every woman that comes in for medical services gets to sit and talk with a registered nurse like you, confidentially, one-on-one, to hear her story, her details, her health history, which is really important when you're making a medical decision, right?
Yes, and that's one thing I think is so important, is number one, is that it's a free thing, which nowhere else can that be available for you, but also giving you that confirmation of, is it in the right place? Is it a viable pregnancy? And how far along am I?
Right. That's great information, Denise. And so listening, if you're in the local area and you would like to have your own free and confidential medical appointment right here at Alcove Health, just go to the website on the final screen, contact us. We're going to try to get you in as soon as we possibly can. All of our services are free, so you have everything to gain and really nothing to lose. We hope you'll reach out today. We love serving our community. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.